Joining me now to talk about the rift between the president and his attorney general, the corrupt Clintons, and why there's no investigation of them, the Muller probe rife with conflicts of interest and no investigation of him, apparently. Peter Schweizer is the president of the Government Accountability Institute, also executive producer of Clinton Cash, which is based on his best-selling book. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Why do you suppose Jeff Sessions will not open an investigation into Hillary Clinton, the obvious corruption of the Clinton Foundation, the obvious corruption of the Obama Justice Department, including his attorney general as well as the fired director of the FBI, when they were investigating, quote unquote, the matter known as Clinton emails?
That's right. No, there was a lot of investigation going on at the FBI. My understanding from people I've talked to is the FBI continues to investigate those things where it's been log jammed.
Well, somebody needs to kind of bring them to heel because they have taken way too much time. And I think right now that FBI appears to be as politicized as it possibly could be. Its management, its top officials.
Well, I think that's definitely one of the dynamics taking place, Lou. The other issue is the FBI investigation's kind of been logjammed because during the Obama administration, the FBI asked for subpoena power, wiretap capability as it related to the Clinton Foundation investigation. They were not granted that by the Obama Justice Department. Well, it's now a Trump Justice Department. I don't know precisely what's gone on the DOJ side, but what I would say is it's not good for the president to be airing these questions and sort of publicly browbeating the attorney general because...
May I take an opposite
Sure,
and
sure.
try this out on you?
Yeah.
This is a president right now that's extraordinarily frustrated.
Yes.
He is looking at a Justice Department that is still in the hands of his adversaries, his opponents, and some would say the enemies of this country, because they are trying to subvert a legitimate president and his administration.
Right.
While he has not had the benefit of even the slightest evidence presented that any of his people did anything wrong. And first of all, we know that collusion is an impossible crime to prosecute since it isn't in the statutes.
Right. No, that's exactly right. And by the way, that's where I think the Mueller investigation is changing. I don't think it's going to be about collusion anymore. I think they are increasingly...
And he needs to go get a new charter.
Well,
because he wasn't elected God.
And this is really the problem with independent counsels, right? I mean, I'm in favor of them in certain contexts, but you can have a situation where it expands. It's clearly moving in the direction of looking at issues related to money laundering. And the fact that there was a lot of Russian money flowing into New York real estate in general.
Well, where the hell was the Obama Justice
Department? Well, that's exactly right.
Where was Pete Barrera, the U.S. attorney?
Yeah, exactly. And here's the challenge, Lou, is that's really not what the independent counsel is supposed to be investigating.
So why is he being permitted to, on his own, change his charter, change the direction of what is already an absolutely illegitimate investigation and a usurpation of a presidential administration?
Yeah, it's a huge problem when you have an independent counsel that is broadening his mission. It's also a huge problem when the American people...
I love the way you say that, like we have to accept it. And I think that's what the president is so frustrated about.
Right.
Why in hell should he, the duly elected president of the United States, have to tolerate this kind of nonsense from a sold-out chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Richard Burr? He's turned it over to Mark Warner, the ranking member, the ranking Democrat on that committee.
Yeah. Well, there are two options
to be deeply concerned.
Yeah, there's two options here, Lou, and that is that Mueller continues and you create a circumstance where you could have either charges or allegations made in this area, or Trump would fire Mueller, and then you're going to have a major crisis because you've got a lot of Republican senators saying that they would resist that. So it is a terrible situation. I think that the president...
You know, one of the reasons he's out there right now talking to the American people, going over the left-wing national media, the fake news media, as he calls it, is he wants to talk to the American people. They put him in that office. Not a bunch of sold-out senators on Capitol Hill.
And here's the thing, Lou. Look, if you had the Trump Foundation take $145 million in exchange for selling uranium to the Russians, if you had Melania Trump taking huge speaking fees from the Russians, which is all of this happened while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. It was the Clintons.
So
you would have a massive investigation with the Trumps. You don't have it with the Clintons. A lot of the American people, a majority, see the double standard.
Do you think Jeff Sessions has the guts to open that investigation that is so urgently required?
I hope that he does. But I would say, Lou, by the president saying this publicly, you create the appearance that the Attorney General is being bullied to investigate, and it's going to raise questions about the integrity of that investigation if it proceeds. So
you know what?
I just don't think publicly the ways to do it.
And I grant you that that's a fair view. I also grant you that this is a president. For the first time, the American people don't have to ask what's on his mind. What does he really mean? Because he is being open and transparent. You remember a guy by the name of Barack Obama promised to do, but failed to do precisely the same thing. This president is succeeding.